I debated myself on whether or not to make this video, and I needed to get it off my chest, and I want to be able to articulate in the best way how I feel. I am not celebrating in the death of Charlie Kirk, and please allow me to explain as to why, because I know that opinion will be met with such criticism and ridicule. The only thing I could think as to why is because I'm a human being. And I couldn't be any more opposite to Charlie Kirk. He was a white, straight man who had a family, and he believed in God and traditional values. I am a person of color who is queer, non-binary, and pansexual. I don't have a family like how he had family. I'm not a parent. And I don't believe in God. And I don't believe in imposing or pushing traditional values. So with all of these differences, there's one commonality that we both can't help. We're both human, or were. And with that being said, I showed compassion. I didn't cry. And even if I did, that, who cares? But I did feel sad. I did feel sad about his death because I'm human. In being human, we show an array of emotions, such as apathy, where you just don't care and can't care about something. And I feel like a lot of people are not caring, and that's fine because, again, that is a human emotion. I do feel apathy for people who pass away or who get murdered or whatever happens to them if they have done atrociously taboo acts against society, against humanity, such as murdering someone and it's not out of self-defense, raping someone, harming a child in any way, or causing the mass death of people, genocide. I can't have empathy. I can't be empathetic. So with Charlie Kirk, all I saw him as was a political figure who had a lot of opinions that rubbed people the wrong way. And I did not agree with this man on a lot of things. But when I see people bring up quotes, when I see people try to say he was this, demonizing him as that, I can only think that these people generally tend to not do their research, and they only listen to their friends, and they feed off of their friends' emotions, they feed off of their community's emotions, instead of actually doing deep research on what this man actually was and what he actually said. And they go off the headlines. They go off one quote without actually finishing the entire clip or watching the clip from beginning to end. And they determine his character based off of that, which is, I think you can agree with this, unfair. You wouldn't like it if you said something and someone took what you said out of context and they didn't see the entire clip, and they refuse to watch the entire clip because they're so self-righteous with their own ideologies, with how they think, that they believe they're right and they can only be right, and they will always hate you for it. Like I said, I couldn't be any more opposite than Charlie Kirk. But I believe we need room in our society for civility, for rationalism, and for understanding each other, instead of hurling a bunch of different terminologies around, labeling people this or that. I really do feel like this is the turning point, and I don't mean to say that like how other people are saying that, but I hope this is a turning point to where we can see the people who are irrationally limited, I would say. They're limited as in they can't research. They don't want to do research. They want to stay self-righteous. They don't want to look at facts. They don't want to, be logical. They think that if they just continue being self-righteous, they'll win the day. That's not how you win the day. And if you do win, that's just an illusion of you winning. But instead, you're creating more chaos and destruction, in my opinion. You have to be calm. You have to do your research. You have to listen to people that you don't like and listen to what they have to say. not be in an echo chamber, not, you know. And people get mad. Well, he was a political figure. He had so much influence. Look at all the people at his rally. Isn't his opposers, his political enemies, not doing the same thing? Don't they have their own rallies? Don't they have their own people that they influence and their own audiences? What's the difference? Well, he's saying this, he's saying that. Okay, give me a clip, like 4K audio and visual, where he is being racist. Give me a clip where he is opposing black people. Because I haven't seen that yet. And this is not me supporting him. I'm trying to be rational. I'm trying to be logical. I'm trying to be, you know what I mean? But people don't want to be this nowadays. They just want to yell and point and demonize without listening and understanding. And the tragedy of this video is that they're going to do the same thing to this video and call me a bigot, call me a supporter, call me a pick-me. A pick-me is so annoying. You guys use the term pick-me a lot, and it makes no sense. Why would I want to be a pick-me for the people that don't like me? Why I want to be a pick-me for people who don't approve of my lifestyle? Doesn't make any sense. But I just wanted to talk about that. And a lot of people are being hypocrites right now because they want to be the stewards of peace and, love. And here they are being hateful and destructive. And I just feel like that's very hypocritical. Same people who are saying we want gun control, but yet you celebrate a man's death when he is ended by a gun. Well, he said this about gun control, and it's poetic. You ever heard of being a bigger person? I don't know what to say here. We bicker, we have so many words that people misinterpret when it comes to us bickering in politics and shit. And we can bicker all day and all night and everything, but I think we need to be serious and be empathetic and be compassionate as human beings when someone actually dies over this shit. I rather live in a stable society where people are always bickering and always at odds about something, but they're civil. They come to the courtroom, they come to the chamber room, whatever they have Congress at, in their suits, and they sit down, they have their bills, they have their, reports and documents, and they're civil about this stuff and say, this is what we need to do, yada, yada, yada. Rather than a society where extremists are the loudest and they're being the most harmful because they're striving to have a perfect world where only their ideology reigns supreme. Because they're harming people. They're hurting people. And that's not right. We all know that's not right. And your ideology cannot be the one to reign supreme, and no one can't speak up against it because that's a fascist state. And you know it. No matter what you believe in, anything you believe in, any idea can be corrupted, can be turned toxic. So I can't care if you want your ideology to be the only ideology, because that's not right. No matter how much you oppose other people's ideologies, yours cannot be the one that reigns supreme, and you cannot shut other people up when they disagree with it. So I'd rather live in this world where we're always at odds and we're just trying to figure things out and we're slowly progressing, because progression takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. I hate to break it to you, but that's just life. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, it takes patience, it takes diligence, and you just keep pursuing, and you keep being respectful, and you keep pushing what you're trying to push for. I'd rather live in this world. I don't want to live in a world where everyone is like throwing fucking Molotovs at each other saying, I want my ideology to be the only ideology. Go by my rules. Go by my rhetoric. But go by this. You can't do that. Like, who do you start to sound like? Fascism. The same thing that people are trying to prevent. They don't see that they're actually making it happen. It's just their ideologies are on top of it now, or wearing the mask of fascism. fundamentally, as a person, as a queer person of color, I do want our world to progress. I want people to be themselves. I want people to love who they want to love. I want people to get the gender affirming care that they need. HRT, transgender stuff, transgender rights, all that stuff. I want that. But I don't want people to die. People who don't deserve to die. I don't want them to die. Simple as that. And people will then say, well, you know, revolutions, it takes blood to start a revolution. What revolution? You guys have all these fantasies in hopes of a revolution. I can tell you right now, the United States is not going to have a revolution. There's too many factors involved as to why. And you guys are too blind or self-righteous to actually see that or see why. It's not going to have a revolution. I feel like the people who are yelling that are emotionally immature, politically immature, and they are not looking at the bigger picture, or they're not thinking realistically. In a revolution, not only the rich people's mansions burn, everything is flipped over, and you have to be ready for that. And I know a lot of people are not actually ready for that. They can only fantasize about being ready or having a revolution. So what revolution? I think people need to calm the fuck down and just proceed accordingly. Show up. If you want to make a change, show up to your meetings. Show up to the legislation meetings, to the chamber meetings. Show up. Show up. Don't just protest and whine and bitch and try to show off your battle jackets and shit. Show up. Go to be like actually fucking walk the walk. Show up. Be all like, this is this is that. Don't be crazy. Because if you are crazy, society will look at you as crazy, and then you become a meme on the internet, and no one takes you seriously. Stop being immature. Stop being little children who is whining and yelling and will say, I want this. Shit doesn't happen when you do that. So, with my finishing words, I have to say this. I feel bad for what happened to Charlie Kirk. And I feel bad for his children, and I feel bad for his wife. Because I'm a human being. With all the differences that Charlie and I had, one commonality that we cannot help is that we were human. However you see it, So,